Hi, I'm Jim Gordon, and you're watching Market 1 Minute. Joining us is Niel Marotta. He is the CEO of Sun Summit Minerals. Neil, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, give our viewers a brief overview on Sun Summit Minerals and specifically your flagship JD project.
Sure. Well, Sun Summit Minerals is a gold exploration company. Our assets are all based in British Columbia. Our flagship asset is the JD project, and that is located in the Toodoggone. Toodoggone is an area in north central British Columbia across the Bowser Basin from the Golden Triangle that most people are probably familiar with. And this area has really come alive in the last 18 months. We've seen a lot of corporate investment. And what's really driving that is the metals prices going higher. And that might sound very obvious, higher metals prices, more interest in junior gold stocks. But in this case, I think what it's done is take an area where the grades in the past maybe weren't very compelling, and now are very compelling. And so we're seeing the stocks move and a lot of great progress in the area.
You mentioned the Toodoggone region. It is getting a lot of attention, as you said. Where does Sun Summit fit in?
Well, we're right in the heart of the district. Contiguous to the west is Thesis Gold and Silver. On the east is TDG. And south of us would be the A-Mark property. And anchoring the district is Centerra's Kemess project. We're the last company in the area without a real corporate partner. So that's something that may change in the near future. We'll see how things go. But we're, I would say, behind the other companies in terms of our development timeline by a few years. And I think that'll change. We'll catch up over the next few years as we continue to progress on the projects.
Let's expand a little bit more on that. Walk us through your 2026 exploration plan and give some specifics on what you hope to achieve.
Sure. Well, we're fully funded to do 10,000 meters of drilling in 2026. That is the largest drill program that we've ever done. In fact, that's more than the last 2 years worth of work combined since we optioned the property in early 2024. And so that drill program will focus on the 4.5 kilometer corridor that we call the Creek to Fin corridor. We've done 36,000 meters of historic drilling on the property. The last 2 years, we've drilled close to 10,000 meters. So this 10,000 meter program we're doing this year, biggest program to date, and all of that will lead to an initial maiden resource estimate on the property in Q1 of next year.
How does Sun Summit's valuation compare to peers in that district or region?
Sure. Well, we are undervalued, we think, relative to our peers. I mean, when you look around the neighborhood, the Thesis Gold and Silver is almost at $1 billion market cap. A-Mark, TDG, multi-100 billion market caps. And of course, Centerra in the area is about a $5 billion market cap. Our market cap is just under 50 million. So we think that's not necessarily a reflection of the value of the company or the quality of the assets we have, but the stage that the project is at. We're pre-resource. We're going to change that by Q1. And I think as we continue to develop the project, we'll narrow that valuation gap between ourselves and our neighbors.
You mentioned that you're fully funded into 2026. How does that strategically position you compared to your peers that may need to go out and raise capital in the market?
Well, it's always better to be fully funded than to need capital. So we were proactive. Last December, we raised 11.5 million in a private placement. That capital will go into the ground this summer. You know, the market's been pretty good for the juniors and for the mid-tier companies to raise capital in the last couple of years, but certainly better to be fully funded than the other way around.
Final question for you, Neil. What should investors be looking for over the next 12 months?
The next 12 months will be transformational for Sun Summit, right? We've got a record drill program this year that will inform our maiden mineral resource estimate coming in Q1. And I think to a certain extent, Sun Summit is still a bit of a show me story. Once the market sees the quality of the resource that we have, we think the valuation gap between ourselves and our neighbors, some of which are trading close to $1 billion market cap or more, I think we'll narrow that gap as a result of that work.
Neil, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Jim Gordon. Thanks for watching this Market 1 Minute on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with other videos that we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click on this list to see other great videos from Market 1. And thank you again for watching.